With over a decade of proven field performance, Firestone QuickSeam tape systems for EPDM installations have compiled an impressive track record, proving their watertight integrity, strength, durability, and cost-effectiveness in a variety of conditions and climates and temperatures. Designed specifically to work with Firestone rubber guard ballasted and adhered roof assemblies, Firestone's new QuickSeam Splice tape system featuring QuickPrime takes the advantages of tape seaming to new levels of performance and greatly reduces the time of installation. Simply stated, installing a Firestone EPDM roofing assembly with a QuickSeam Splice tape system is significantly faster. Contractors and crews across the country have been impressed by Firestone's QuickSeam system's speed of installation, resulting in lower labor expenses and reduced installation costs. Firestone's QuickSeam Splice tape system has three main components: QuickPrime, Quick Scrubber pad and handle, and QuickSeam Splice tape. All are specially designed to ensure consistency in application, to save you time and money. How fast is a QuickSeam installation? Based on actual field results from commercial roofing projects, the Firestone QuickSeam Splice tape system allows quality seams to be installed 2 to 3 times faster. In fact, the average 3-man crew working in optimal conditions can install a 100 lineal foot seam in less than 15 minutes. In this program, we will explain the step-by-step methods for correctly installing a QuickSeam Splice tape system. You'll learn how to position and mark the sheets. Use the Quick Scrubber and pad. Apply QuickPrime. Check the primer. Apply QuickSeam Splice tape. And finish the job by rolling the seam with the silicone roller. To install the QuickSeam Splice tape system, you'll need Firestone's QuickPrime, QuickSeam Splice tape, Quick Scrubber, and pad. In addition, you'll need a soft bristle push broom, a 4-inch roller, solvent-resistant containers, scissors, silicone hand roller, a marker, and appropriate protective wear. Now, let's take a look at the installation of a QuickSeam Splice tape seam. During the course of the program, an elapsed time clock will appear on screen to show just how fast you can complete a 100 lineal foot seam using the QuickSeam Splice tape system. To begin the installation, shingle lap the adjoining sheets so that there is an overlap of approximately 5 inches. Next, mark the bottom sheet approximately 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the top panel. Using your index finger as a guide along the top edge will give you an accurate enough measurement for this step. Continue marking the bottom sheet every 3 to 6 feet along the length of the seam. These marks will serve as your guide for applying the seam tape to the bottom panel. The next step will be to tack back the top sheet using QuickPrime, the all-new high solids primer with greater initial bonding strength. When a stronger tack-back strength is necessary, we recommend Firestone SA 1065. Before you start tacking back, make sure the QuickPrime is thoroughly stirred and pour into a smaller container. Next, assemble the Quick Scrubber by twist-locking the pad into the scrubber handle. Apply QuickPrime every 4 to 6 feet. Be sure to also tack back all factory seams. Dip the pad in the primer. Pull the scrubber straight up and make sure you hold it flat so that primer doesn't drip out. A full pad of QuickPrime should tack back approximately 15 to 20 feet of seam. You must allow the QuickPrime to dry completely, and then fold the membrane back, applying pressure at the tack points. Tacking the top panel back is very important. Any premature contact of the QuickPrime seam area will result in installation difficulties if it is allowed to mate. Next, apply the QuickPrime to the seam area using the Quick Scrubber. Use long back and forth scrubbing strokes to apply the primer to both the top and bottom of the seam, making sure you overlap the guide marks on the bottom sheet and beyond the edge of the top panel. One of the features of QuickPrime is that it is translucent, enabling you to see your guide marks through the primer. Your Quick Scrubber will hold enough primer to prime approximately 4 to 5 feet of seam surface at a time. The Quick Prime and Quick Scrubber simultaneously cleans and prepares the seam surface for maximum adhesion. Each pad will last for approximately 200 feet of seam. You should change to a new pad when the pad becomes compressed or when the pad has dried primer on it. Changing to a new pad is quick and easy. Simply pull the worn pad off and twist on the new. Additional scrubbing is required on membrane that has bonding adhesive, dirt, heavy mica, or factory seams. Pre-scrubbing these areas will help the priming step. Doing so will allow the person installing the primer to move quickly down the length of the seam. Also, it will add additional quick prime to factory seams and uneven spots, reducing entrapped air in the final seam. Before applying the seam tape, you must allow the quick prime to dry completely. This will usually take less than 10 minutes. To test for readiness, use the touch push test at the back of the non-waterproofing edge by pushing straight down with a clean, dry finger. Then push forward on the primer at an angle. The primer should feel tacky, but should not string to your finger. Once the primer is dry, install the new 3-inch QuickSeam Splice tape, made wider to provide even greater workability. With the release paper facing up, align the tape so the edge of the tape's release paper is slightly over the guide marks previously placed on the bottom panel. Tape alignment is very important, so take care to follow the guide marks. As it is applied, the tape should be rolled immediately with a 4-inch wide roller, applying firm pressure across the tape. Rolling the seam removes any air that may be trapped between the primer and the tape. Using hand pressure alone is not sufficient to seal the seam. It does not provide uniform compression of the seam area. At the end of the roll of seam tape, the adjoining roll of tape must overlap a minimum of 1 inch. When cutting the tape, it is helpful to place a piece of the release paper on the exposed side of the seam tape for a clean cut. Once the tape is in place, untack the top EPDM sheet and allow it to fall freely onto the rolled tape and paper. The release paper on the tape must extend at least 1/4 to 1/2 inch past the top sheet. If there are areas where 1/4 inch does not show, trim back the top sheet so that 1/4 to 1/2 inch of the release paper is showing. Prior to removing the release paper, use a push broom to push down the overlap along the entire length of the seam. This assures mating of the quick prime surfaces at the inside edge of the seam. Next, remove the release paper. This is done by pulling the paper away from the seam at a 45-degree angle. Pull the release paper at a steady pace and keep the paper low to the roof surface as you pull it off to reduce air pockets. Now, broom the top lap of the seam over its entire length immediately after removing the release paper. Instead of a broom, you can use a 4 or 10-inch silicone roller or a 9-inch painter's roller. Do not use a steel roller. Roll the length of the seam with a 1 1/2 inch wide silicone roller, both across the seam at a 45-degree angle and along the length of the seam. The QuickSeam Splice tape is now installed. A 100 lineal foot seam completed in under 15 minutes. Now that's a quick seam. Walk the seam to inspect any irregularities and overlaps. Overlaps must be treated with lap sealant or a QuickSeam joint cover. The QuickSeam product line includes all the products required for the job, including QuickSeam flashings, QuickSeam batten covers, QuickSeam pipe flashings, and QuickSeam joint covers. The QuickSeam Splice tape system will provide strong, durable results on every project. Make sure you review all current technical specifications prior to installation and follow safe roofing practices. The QuickSeam Splice tape system from Firestone, the leader in commercial roofing, delivering quality products to help make you more successful in the rubber roofing business. Nobody covers you better.